Patrick Beverley of the Los Angeles Clippers is getting a lot of hype for his defense on Kevin Durant and his aggressive style of play, getting really tight on defense, trying to bother him, getting KD's head, and whether that's working or not. As of last night, it did not seem to be working in what did I think Game 3 of that series. But in Game 2, he was able to. The Clippers had that big comeback, and he was able to really get what would appear he got in the head of Kevin Durant, and through trash talking, through tight defense, through just a nuisance. Really reminded me of Dennis Rodman. Reminded me a lot of Draymond Green. They do a lot of the similar things, and I've had a lot of debates here with my friends about whether that's good basketball or bad basketball. Personally, I think that's great. I think some guys need to have that scrappy advantage to their play. I think that's one of the reasons. I think KD actually said that's the way he feeds his family, and that's true. I mean, guys can build true value for themselves in the league as somebody who can talk trash. But from a scientific standpoint, why does trash talk work? And we got to look at the brain here. We have to look at the neocortex of the brain, and the neocortex is that outer layer of the brain. It is if I were to take the brain and put tinfoil around the top of it, that's what it would be. It's the outermost layer of the brain, and what it operates on is it operates on memory. It operates on sequence. So essentially what will happen is as input comes into my system, my neocortex is going to evaluate that input, whether it be good or bad, safe or dangerous. It's going to evaluate every input that comes in, and then based on how it perceives each input, it will produce a particular output. And one of the things and most important things that I've learned this is probably the most important concept when we're talking about neurology as it pertains to the weight room, is that every input will produce a specific output. And that is all dictated by the neocortex. And depending on each input and how the brain is going to perceive it, the brain will now produce a particular output. So a Patrick Beverley, in this instance, somebody who trash talks in the NBA, this is somebody who is essentially searching for a particular output. They are searching for an input that is going to produce a negative output for the athlete, for Kevin Durant. They're looking to find something. They're trying to strike a chord based on their opponent's neurology and neocortical setup. They're trying to strike a chord so that they come across a threat. They can produce a neurological threat for Kevin Durant in his system in order to produce an extension response, a nervous response, to produce a response that is going to limit Kevin Durant's movement. They're going to limit his ability to have that triplanar movement that he's so good at. When he's comfortable, when he's operating in a comfort zone, in the zone, I'm sure he has really strong triplanar movement. I'm sure that he has a really strong base of athleticism that is revolving around neurological freedom and neurological permission to move in that way. But if Patrick Beverley is able to find and strike that chord in order to threaten the neurological system, in order to threaten his survival, now he has to start tensing up. Now he has to get into an extended pattern, needs to get into extension tone, and which is going to take away his triplanar movement, which is going to take away his athleticism, which is going to take away his ability to perform. And essentially, when we're talking about trash talking, we are talking about trying to produce the right input to elicit the output that we are desiring.